Have you ever found yourself in a conversation where you're trying to grow and yet it feels like you're also trying not to lose the person on the other side? Because you're evolving, you're practicing self awareness, emotional intelligence, compassion, and you want the other person to meet you there. Not for control, not for superiority, but because you want the connection to grow too. But it doesn't always work like that, does it? Sometimes you have to approach a conversation carefully, like you're tiptoeing through a dynamic. Not because you're walking on eggshells, but because you've realized that if you come off like you're trying to teach, they'll shut down. So instead, you make it feel like a mutual journey, an equal learning opportunity, essentially. Because when it feels equal, they're open, they're listening, they're growing too. And that's when the magic happens. The walls come down, and suddenly, you're learning together. But let's be real. Not everyone responds well to that. Some people have a deep resistance to being taught, especially by someone they consider their equal. Or worse, someone younger. It's like the act of accepting knowledge is secretly wired in their brain as an admission that they didn't already know it, which to them feels like they're less than, even when that's not true. This isn't arrogance, it's conditioning, emotional trauma that happened earlier in their life. The mind has learned to compartmentalize dynamics. Parent versus child, boss versus employee, older sibling versus younger sibling, friend versus teacher. And when those roles overlap, when love and growth show up in the same room, it scrambles the wires. But here's the thing. Real emotional evolution means unlearning those separations. Because life isn't a bunch of neat little boxes. Growth happens in the intersections, in the burning of roles, in the moments when someone you love becomes your mirror, your challenger, your guide, whether or not they were meant to be. So if you're watching this and you're the ones who's been doing the work, the one who's been patient, who's had to disguise truth as curiosity just to keep a connection open, I see you. And if you're on the other side of this, the one who feels discomfort when someone close tries to show you something, you're not broken. Your brain just hasn't felt safe learning that way yet. But the invitation is still open because there is so much freedom on the other side of emotional ego. This is what it means to retrain your brain. To realize that growth doesn't mean you were wrong. It means you're becoming more. It means you trust someone enough to let them guide you sometimes. And that trust, that humility is strength, not weakness. So I encourage you, phase forward with grace, with curiosity, with compassion, not just for others, but for yourself. Because when we can receive love and wisdom from the same place, that's when relationships can truly transform.